In what may be a Canadian first, a BC police officer has been charged with torturing a man. Crown is attempting to apply the rarely used section of the criminal code against a Mountie who worked in Merritt. Janet Dirks has the details and the reaction.
He's already under a cloud, the young man on the right. Last year, RCMP Constable Saxon Peters was charged with aggravated assault and 2 counts of obstructing justice. Now the Merritt Mountie faces the rare count of torture for an alleged incident with an Aboriginal man back in 2005.
He used his knees and his hands, so I got all busted ribs down this side.
Glen Shooter spoke with us shortly after what he called the beating of his life. Shooter says it happened after he ran into 3 officers in downtown Merritt. He says they accused him of stealing a bicycle and put him in the back of their cruiser. Then Shooter says he was driven 10 kilometers outside of town and told to get out of the vehicle, that one officer struck him repeatedly while the others watched. Shooter says he was forced to walk back to Merritt, where he checked himself into hospital.
He hit me about 6 times, I'd say. The force that he used, with his hands. The force that he used on me was pretty crazy.
1 week later, an investigation was ordered by the RCMP. The report was then turned over to Crown Counsel, and the original charges were laid. Now the Crown is adding the charge of torture. The criminal code provision is directed at officials, meaning that a member of the Canadian Forces or a peace officer can be charged. Although the RCMP won't comment on camera, a spokesperson told CTV News he can't ever recall a member being charged with this offence. Perhaps the most infamous Canadian case involving torture was the Somalia affair. In 1993, 2 members of the Canadian Airborne Regiment were charged in connection with the death in torture of a Somali youth. One soldier was eventually found guilty and sentenced to 5 years in prison. A spokesperson with the Crown says while the charge is rare, after a comprehensive review, the count against the Merritt officer meets their standards. Saxon remains on suspension with pay. His next court appearance is in March. Janet Dirks, CTV News, Vancouver.